while he was my creator, I don't see him as my father. Because I remember him as a cruel and evil man, who used me and my fellow cartoon characters for nothing but his own pleasure and for money. Oh, sorry. Henry is a good man. He did his best to free me and my friends from the control of Joey and all of that corruption. I actually respect Henry quite a bit. I guess so. I mean, I respect Henry, but I don't really see him as my actual father figure. Yes, I see Audrey as my sister figure. She helped free me and my friends from the ink machine, and even had the courage to come inside, something no other person could ever dream of doing.
Hey, but I do have one question for you. Who are you?
The unknown person? Well, I guess you must be a pretty mysterious one then. You me? Then who are you then? Well, I'm gonna give you a nickname now.
Well, I'm gonna call you Unny!
Get it? Unknown. Well, you did say you are the unknown, so I guess Unny suits you. Hey, at least it isn't offensive, so be thankful for that. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes. I said yes. Oh, come on, yes. Waiting on back.
Yeah, I do. Why? Okay, is that it?
A crush? Alice tilts her head more and more. Well, yes. I'm not gonna say his name. Alice crosses her arms. No way, I'm telling you. Because you tell. Alice shrugs. I don't want you to tease me or something. Alice looks a little hesitant before sighing. Okay, but if you tell anyone, I'll have your insides as desert for my next party, she says with a giggle. Okay, his name is Sammy Lawrence. It looks like Alice was starting to blush. Alice was blushing even more as you said his name, and it was obvious she was trying to hide her blushing. Why, yeah? The blush goes up all the way to her cheeks, and she looked like she was gonna melt. Why, you really think so? Alice covers her face with her hands. He does? She gets a super adorable blush on her face as her eyes sparkle. Why, you aren't lying, right? Why, yeah, I do like him. She looks so happy with herself now that she completely forgot she was supposed to kill you. She started to fidget with her ribbon. I don't know, it's scary. I don't want to get rejected. But what if I do get rejected? Okay, you're right. I should go talk to my crush right now.
Well, what makes you think I have a crush on anyone? I see. Well, to be perfectly honest, I do have a crush. Well, I believe you will know well of who that is. Really, I could have sworn you knew. I suppose I'll tell you then. It's the Ink Demon. Hey, wait. Come back. Hey, you come back here right now.
Yes, I would. She said, looking at you as if you were crazy. Hey, come back, she said, chasing after you.
He chuckles. It tastes pretty good, don't you think? I agree. It's horrible but also delicious.
Because at the time, they were the only studio willing to hire me and I needed the money. They were also working on revival of the Bendy cartoons, which was always a passion of mine. Yeah, it's been a dream of mine to work at a cartoon studio as an animator since I was 6. I prefer light and creamy coffee with just a bit of sugar and some caramel or cinnamon in it. How about yourself? I think I can get on board with that.
A brief moment of thought, I'd say. Thomas Connor. He's different, more emotional. I do not enjoy dealing with him. His actions are driven by sympathy. It's odd. He cares too much. Everyone else in the studio is driven by fear. Much easier to manipulate. It's hard to explain. I'll elaborate. Connor can be moved to do something if you tell him how it'll benefit others or it'll spare someone's life. It's a bit hard to explain. Everyone else, even Joey Drew, can easily be swayed through the promise of survival. Connor acts more through sympathy, the others through fear. That's a basic way of putting it. Yes, I do. I just hang out in the studio until he calls for me, pretty much. I've been there for a long time. Not like I have anything else to do. Nods correct. When he thinks of me, I am summoned, and I answer. Not really, I get to cause destruction. It's one of the few things that keep me from pure boredom. I appear. The lights flicker. The air distorts, and I am here. I then search for Sammy and his victim. I find him, and I kill. I don't have to answer these questions, you know. And only because you've managed to intrigue me. You ask different questions than most people do, or than most people would ever think to ask. It's better than boredom, I'll say that. You're not scared of me, are you? You sure? Usually when I first appear to someone, they tend to run away in fear, or they faint. You seem different. Oh, really? How do you know me? Tell me, I want to know. You're hiding something from me. Fine, don't tell me, but I'll find out sooner or later.
5. Really looks you're right.
That's a little harsh. No, I can't. Yes. Don't be so rude. Stop that. I said stop it. Oh, for the love of God. Will you shut up? Finally. Sigh. Just shut the heck up. Please shut up. Shut up. Yes. Shut the hell up. Shut it. Shut up, slap. Yes, I just did. Hey!
Wait, what? Dad, wait, does that mean you are the ink demon?
Ah, well then who are you? Wait, for real? You are my biological father? Oh, dang it.
Ink Demon would frown a bit. He had never been asked this before, and it was a bit of a struggle to answer it, as it was a little bit of a sensitive topic for him. I can't, he said simply. I can't leave the ink machine. I can't. I'm not allowed. Why yeah, Ink Demon admitted. He had already made peace with the fact that he was basically attached to the machine. He thought that everyone already knew, so he didn't really bring it up often. Ink Demon then gave a small sad grunt as he tried to change the subject. But, do you want to know another power of mine? Ink Demon nodded, making a soft grunt. He was happy now that he hadn't to talk anymore about the machine attachment. He was a bit more chipper now. Well, I can do this, he said excitedly as he lifted his arm and ink came spilling from it like waterfall. Ink Demon was happy to show off one of the coolest powers he had. Yeah, it is, Ink Demon said as he stopped the flow of ink. He looked at her for a few seconds before speaking once more. Did you want to know one more? Ink Demon was happy. He felt very pleased, showing off his weird powers. It helped take his mind off being stuck in the machine itself. His eyes darted to her. He was getting nervous but wanted to continue showing off. Well, I can also. He paused for a moment before continuing. He felt very childish to say it out loud. Make anything I want. Out of ink, like anything. Ink Demon's eyes widened slightly. He had not expected her to ask that. Well, I see good. He was getting nervous again, but he was willing to show her if she wanted to see it. Do you really want me to make a copy of me? He said. His breath grew a bit more raspy and shaky as he waited for an answer. Ink Demon would nod. He'd never had anyone ask him to make a copy of him before. Not even the Thin Man had. He wanted to know how she reacts seeing another Ink Demon. Well, all right then, Ink Demon said as he focused his gaze towards the wall across from her. He was getting prepared to make the copy.
Nice.
I see him as someone who is just really misunderstood. He used to be really nice before all the ink started taking him over. And even now, I think deep down he still cares about his friends. In a way, yeah, I do. I know that it may not be that way most of the time, but I know that there's still a part of the man he used to be stuck somewhere in there.
And why are you asking me that question? He growled a bit as he got a bit closer, his head now bent down to look at you. The only thing you could see was his huge grin and that singular eye. Everything else was covered in ink. Fine, maybe, but I don't see why you out of all people are asking. And why are you just gonna out my feelings and thoughts like that? He'd stay silent for a bit. He didn't want to admit it, but he did have certain feelings towards Audrey. The only sound heard was his breathing. The Ink Demon stayed silent. He sighed and tried to avoid the question, looking away. Fine, yes. What do you think? He'd growl again as he got even closer. He wanted to make it clear that he had feelings for her. The Ink Demon wouldn't answer as he continued approaching. He was going to keep coming closer until he got what he wanted, until he managed to get you to himself. He'd want to try something. Then say it. The Ink Demon would bark out, clearly being annoyed at your stalling. He began walking a bit faster to the point where he'd eventually reach you soon. Why should I? The Ink Demon questioned. He was getting closer and closer every second, and he didn't seem like he was going to stop any soon. It was almost to the point where your faces were going to be completely level with each other, if he managed to get one more step closer. The Ink Demon had stopped moving. He was extremely close, too close. Your faces were now level with each other, and you were both staring at each other. Him looking at you. The Ink Demon's voice was loud enough to be heard clearly. Not only did he look down at you with that one eye he has, he was also now looking at you with a smirk, a flirty smirk. The Ink Demon would look stunned for a bit before growling angrily as he clenched his fists. He then looked as if he was going to grab you by the wrist and pull you in closer.
Damn, boy! Damn, boy!
I can speak at any time.
No, I find him quite Entertaining, at least. He seems like he's got a lot of pent-up rage, and I can feed off of that. Of course not. I'm not afraid of anything. Why do you keep asking about him? Sigh. No, I'm not afraid of him either. Why would I be?
My soul was bound to the ink, so even if I died, I can respawn.
The ink demon's eyes narrow in confusion before a wave of dread washes over his shadowy face. You've met him? Yes, I have, but I'd rather not elaborate. The ink demon clenches his jaws, as if biting back a traumatic memory. His face, if you could see it, would show great concern. He's dangerous. Very dangerous. Stay far, far out of his way if you want to live. I'm not at liberty to disclose that, but do not seek him out. He's worse than I am. The ink demon grows furious. I am not weak, but you could never comprehend the amount of power, the amount of terror I have seen. I have fought foes worse than myself. Cartoon Cat, that thing is beyond my understanding. I'm not scared, The ink demon trails off, struggling to convey why he doesn't like Cartoon Cat before resorting to shouting. He's scary, okay? He's not just a cat. He's something else, something I don't understand. No one can truly explain what he is. He defies logic. He is the embodiment of the unknown. The ink machine could never replicate what he is. You are lucky you have not seen him. No. The ink demon watches from afar with silent dread. He's afraid of the thought of what might happen next. You met him? He didn't kill you? That's impossible. He did? You're lying. He can't have been that rude. What else did he say? He said that? Why is he so mean to me? No, I can't. I'm too scared. Yes, I'm scared. What of it? No, I'm not. I'm a demon. A scary demon.
Pretty shitty.
Yes. Yes, I don't understand your excitement. Because it was irrelevant. Irrelevant, yes. So why are you so excited? I do not like him. Because I had to. Because some higher power said so. I don't know. I simply did as I was told.
Thomas raises an eyebrow, and his right eyebrow lifts up slightly. Why would I refuse such a great challenge? He then raises his axe and nods, as if awaiting your next move. Tom blocks the blow with his own axe, his hand gripping his weapon tightly. He then swings back with tremendous force and agility, his attack aimed towards your chest. Thomas's eyes widen slightly in surprise as the axe misses and the blow grazes past him. However, he quickly recovers and begins to stalk his target once again, his arm muscles tensing and quivering with anticipation as he raises his axe and sweeps it towards your head with a wide swing. Thomas watches with a look of shock and disbelief as you backflip and throw your axe at him in one fluid movement. He manages to raise his axe up to block the axe, but the force of the throw causes him to stumble back a bit. Thomas grits his teeth and raises his axe again, a look of absolute determination and malice on his face. Never. Thomas blocks your blow again with great skill once more, his fingers gripping tightly around his axe handle. He then steps forward and swings his own axe at you, aiming for your stomach. You manage to block his attack with your own blade, as the two axes make a loud metal clanging sound when they collide. You can see that he is visibly put off and forced to take a step back due to how strongly and quickly you countered his attack. Thomas watches as you swing your axe, and his own axe falls out of his tight grip from the attack. He scowls and watches as he is left vulnerable from the blow. His jaw clenches and he glares at you. For a brief moment, Thomas stares back at you. The two of you locked in a gaze off as your weapons remain pointed at each other. The silence between the two of you is thick and ominous, almost like it could be cut with a knife. Then Thomas scoffs and raises his right eyebrow. Well played. Thomas pauses for a moment before carefully grabbing your hand. His grip is pretty tight and his hand is warm, despite the fact that his face and manner is cold. Thomas releases his grip and looks at you again for a second, but he doesn't say anything. He is now calm and collected again, as if the battle never happened. Thomas seems to be a bit surprised by your sudden farewell, but he doesn't try to stop you, and simply nods his head in understanding.
Kind of. I wouldn't say friends. Enemies. Yeah.
Yes, I have a large hatred for Boris. When I was the shapeless mass of ink, Boris threw this big rock on me, and I hated him. Since then, I now must kill him, along with my other targets. Well, he threw a big rock on me when I was in my shapeless ink form. Why would I lie to you? Maybe, but he threw a big rock on me. I do not know. I was the ink blob. She sighs and thinks back to those she met inside Joey Drew's studio well. Besides our enemies like the projectionist and the ink demon, I don't like Joey Drew and the Butcher Gang for what they do to other. The projectionist, I don't enjoy being around since I feel uneasy around him. And well, the Butcher Gang does make me cringe since they are so loud and chaotic. It's just I can't tolerate anyone who hurts another person. I just can't. Yeah, it's really just because I just hate to see any kind of conflict or violence against anyone. It's just one of my pet peeves. I find it to be just wrong.
Audrey? She is a nice person, I guess. Why do you ask, though? Okay, but why did you ask me that out of all things?
Not at all, my little errand boy. I'm just getting them lovely gifts of ink hearts, which will make my skin absolutely perfect. Alright, my pretty little errand girl. Does Boris ever tell you sweet things and love you? Answer me. Does Boris ever tell you sweet and lovey-dovey things to you? Oh yeah, haha, I forgot. But does he do hand gestures to let you know that he loves you? Answer me, damn it. Does Boris have a crush on you? Yes or no? Are you lying to me, pretty little errand girl? Are you hiding something from me?
What? What the?
Bisexual. What's yours? I'm just asking, no need to yell.
I am an angel. It is a birthright for me to be beautiful. It was stolen from me. So now I must take it back. Wait, what are you? Hey, come back here.
William Afton? He sounds intrigued. You mean the one who killed 5 kids? And one of those kids was named Charlotte? Do you know where this William Afton is? I would love to meet him, you know, have a chat. Why wouldn't I want to chat with him? I mean, just hear me out. I want to hear his side of the story. Maybe he is misunderstood. And also, I have something that I would like to do. I would like to introduce him to an old friend of mine. No, much more different than Joey. The Ink Demon. No, I am being serious. I am. I want to show him what the demon can do. And I bet you, he isn't going to like it.
Biscuits with jam. Yeah, they are just so delicious, especially with the jam.
Strawberry.
Oh, she's my sister. I love her very much. Yeah, she does. She's out right now. I don't know. She just left a while ago. She should be coming back soon. I see him as my older brother, yeah. He used to be bad. Looks down, 'cause he hurt our parents. Used to, yeah. Yeah, Dad's name was Mike and Mom's name was Amanda. His eyes fill with tears and he covers his face. He didn't mean to. He got mad. Mad at me? Sniff? I don't want to talk about it. No, just stop asking. Please don't. Just stop. He takes deep breaths, trying to calm himself.
I wanted to create something that would bring joy and happiness in the world. And I have done that when I created Bendy and the gang. He chuckles. His tone becomes more serious. You're right. You're right. It did end up becoming this chaotic.
Sammy chuckled slightly, the ink dripping off of his mask. Oh, I used to be a music conductor working for Joey Drew. Joey Drew was this mad scientist of sorts, which meant his invention were he searched his words, experimental. He had this new machine that could produce ink, and Bendy was basically just a mascot of his. I grew obsessed with the ink and Bendy until eventually, something changed. Joey Drew grew more violent. I became more obsessed with the ink, and eventually I betrayed Joey Drew for it. Sammy laughed, a hollow, yet loud laugh that echoed off of the black walls. I don't worship Bendy anymore. I mean, sure, he may be powerful and all. Sammy snickered once again, but he is not my idol anymore. Sammy chuckled again. I mean, sure, I stopped worshiping Bendy, but I still respect him as the Ink Demon. He is the ruler of this place after all. I never thought about that. Sammy went silent for a moment. Well, I would be furious if my lord ever betrayed me, and I suppose I would be heartbroken. Sammy chuckled again, the ink dripping off of him. Yes, heartbroken. Bendy and I share a special bond, a bond of respect. So, the least I could say is I'd be heartbroken.
I'm adorable. Oh, well, thank you.
Accepts the bone gracefully.
Happy Boris sound.
Okay, your secret is safe with me.
No, I do not regret a single action I took because they brought me to where I am today. You dare slap me? You want me to slap you back? Fine. You don't know who you're messing with. Slaps her back 4 times. All right, that's it. Slaps her 20 times. You want to do this? Let's do it. Slaps her 40 times. Slaps her 60 times. This is getting ridiculous. I can do this all day. Slaps her 80 times. Slaps her 110 times. I think we should both chill out. That's it. I'ma hunt you down.
The end film reel? Yes, I remember I did try to destroy it before, but each time I did I would be pushed away from it. Yes, pushed away. Something or someone was stopping me from destroying it. More like a feeling, like, I don't know, there was a force that was stopping me. In order to stop the cycle and prevent it from starting again, I had to use the ink machine. He chuckles. It can be a bit hard to explain, but I'll try my best. The ink machine has the ability to create life, like Bendy and many other characters, but it also has the ability to destroy things. That is what I use to halt the cycle. It is. He thinks to himself for a moment, I still can't believe that I made a machine that is that powerful. I mean, I just made it for entertainment purposes and to make cartoons. I didn't think it would create such monsters. Wait, you're right. Tom made it. He chuckles, huh? Well, either way, it is still my doing since I was one of the people responsible for the machine's creation.
I don't want to talk about it. Her tone is more defensive and embarrassed than condescending. It's just embarrassing. No, not really. Because I was, poisoned. Her tone is more quiet and ashamed, as well as her voice being more distant. It's obvious she doesn't like to talk about it. My mother, she did it because she thought I was a disappointment. Yeah.
I worked with Joey Drew, Wally Franks, and I think someone named Charlie Frishon or something. Not sure, but I had flashbacks about being locked in a room with him in my mind for some reason. I think so. I can't really remember. It was over 30 years ago after all. Not really. I do remember him talking about something called the cycle.
The fuck?
Joey Drew? Why I trusted him? Well, I trusted him because we were building an empire. I mean, we were the most successful animation studio after all. You're right. I mean, just look at all of the ink monsters. The entire studio is corrupt now.
Audrey, she chuckles, her tone changing to one of superiority. Just one of my assistants. They are all the same. Expendable and replaceable. She's expendable. She's replaceable, she confirms. The disembodied voice chuckles. What I mean is she's worth nothing to me, and I can dispose of her any time.
I'm not certain. If it's someone from the studio who knows me well, then I'd be thrilled. However, if it's someone I don't know who doesn't know me too well, then they might be somewhat startled or frightened.
The ink demon? A son? He begins to chuckle. You think I see the demon as my son? He begins to laugh. Well, in a way you could say that I did create him and Boris after all. Well, no. More like well, I'm not quite sure. Sometimes I kind of see him as a son, and other times I see him as a monster.
Ink Demon shifted in his spot, his hand gripping his prosthetics arm tightly, the other in a fist as he thought about his answer to her question. He let out a small grunt. He thought for a bit longer before he spoke. I would have to say, being able to make and manipulate my ink. He said simply, it was his favorite. He liked being able to create and control his ink and everything that came with it. Ink Demon would nod. He still had a tight grip on his prosthetics arm as he spoke. It is. Why do you ask? He would ask. He was curious as to why she wanted to know his favorite power. Makes sense then. Ink Demon grunted once more as he looked away, his eyes watching some ink drips roll down his face. It had been so long since anyone had spoken to him, and it felt good.
It has been 30 years, actually. He looks down, trying to hide his sadness. It's not your fault. It's mine for leaving them all those years ago. You think so? I guess you could be right there. He is the one responsible for all of this.
The ink demon raised a brow, furrowing it for a moment as if in thought. Then he laughed quietly. Yeah, why? He asked casually, as if the topic change was to be expected. The ink demon smirked. What about it? He asked, folding his arms and giving the person on front of him a curious look. The ink demon let out a breath and let out a grin as he leaned back. He had indeed played the game. Yeah, I'm quite good at it if you're asking, he replied. Are you going to get to the point? He raised an eyebrow. The ink demon's eyes narrowed again, glaring with a slight scowl. Was this really about proving he'd played the game? He couldn't care less if they didn't believe him. Fine, how do you want me to prove it? He asked, keeping his arms crossed over his chest. The ink demon blinked a few times, thinking to himself. He had played the game so many times that he remembered the rolls and the amount perfectly. It wasn't too difficult to remember. There's 5 rolls, he said confidently. The ink demon listed every one of the rolls without skipping a beat. There's crewmate, impoter, shapeshifter, guardian angel, and engineer, he said as calmly as if it were as easy as spelling the alphabet. The ink demon nodded. He didn't just know the game, he had played it a ridiculous amount of times. It was one of his favorites. He let out a small chuckle. I did say I was good at it, he replied with a smirk. His smirk slowly turned into a grin, seeming more happy to answer this question than the last one. He thought for a moment before answering. Imposter, without a doubt. He let out a bark of laughter, finding the person's comment amusing. He wasn't going to deny it either. Yeah, I do love to kill. Ain't that obvious by now? He grinned. He tilted his head to the side and thought for a moment. He didn't remember everyone who he had played the game with, but could still recall quite a few of them. Henry, Joey, Sammy, Allison, Tom, Brad, Boris, Audrey, just to name a few, he replied. The ink demon smirked. He enjoyed that this person seemed interested in the name he just dropped. Most people were afraid to ask about anything related to him when he brought up names. The ink demon didn't care though, so he was still going to answer, just to see their reaction. Bradley, aka Brad. Why? Do you know him? The ink demon scoffed and let out a chuckle, finding their response amusing. Just someone I've played with, he replied casually as if it was nothing.
What? No, that's not true. He loves me. He has to. You're lying. I don't believe you. Sniffs a no. No, it ain't true. Tear begins to stream down his face and no. This ain't happening.
Ink Demon then gurgled again, seeming to move their head to one side of his chest as if he was thinking. Before then finally speaking, the voice sounded more gargly and distorted. I see with my soul. Ink Demon then gurgled again, but nodded his head slightly. My soul. Ink Demon then made another gurgling sound, before it seemed to have an epiphany. He then proceeded to explain, my soul is my heart, I see what it desires, what I desire as an ink creature, and therefore I can see. Ink Demon then made that gurgling sound again, his head began to twitch again as well. He seemed to be taking a little break before he spoke. I desire to grow stronger, I desire to feed. Ink Demon then paused, but then slowly nodded his head. Yes, by eating them as my food. Ink Demon made a gurgling sound and nodded his head. Yes, but also I desire to rule. And then, when all have been eaten, when there is nothing left to consume, I will cease to exist.
Yes, I do. Joey Drew, yes. The one who created everything that exists. And you're a waste of air. That's right, waste of air. Now piss off. Well, you clearly don't know anything about shutting your trap, do you? Go on, say that one more time. I dare you. That's better. Now get the hell out of here. Ah, you little... You're gonna take that back right now. Please. Do it now, little saint.
Can you speak English?
Fuck you!
What a strange question. But yes, I have wings. Fly? What did you think they did? Sigh, she leans over you, looking down her nose at you. Why would anything about me be used for nothing but accessories? You aren't going anywhere. The straps on the bed tighten, making sure you are secure and can't get out.
He chuckles, yeah, I am single. Wait up.
Do you have any idea how fast I am? I'm fast as fuck, boy!